Pasadena. So glad to be home.
Once again backstage, this time with Brian Simpson. Brian is a keyboard extraordinaire, puts together jazz festivals and ensembles all over the world, and today he will be performing with Kirk Whalum. Brian, can you tell me a little bit about your background and how you were attracted to the keyboard as an instrument?
Well, I grew up in a small town north of Chicago, and luckily I had a family that had really good taste in music, and my dad had a great jazz record collection. I loved, initially I really loved jazz guitar and saxophone much more than piano, but the only instrument we had by the time I was 10 years old was a piano. So that's the one I kind of got stuck with. I didn't even want to play piano, but that's what I had. And eventually I discovered Oscar Peterson, a jazz piano player, and then I really fell in love with it. So I never looked back. And once I got out of school, I went to Northern Illinois University, got a degree in music, and moved to Los Angeles back in the 80s, and just started at the very bottom. I mean, you couldn't start any lower than I did. Literally looking in the want ads for bands, looking for keyboard players. But then a year later, I got an audition with Tina Marie, and I did that tour briefly. Went on to work with Janet Jackson, Jeffrey Osborne, and a lot of other great artists. George Duke for several years, and the last over 10 years, I've been the music director for Dave Koz, and while I was working with him, I started working on the Smooth Jazz Cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, and I, at that time, started working with Wayman Tisdale, and every artist that's on that cruise, which has included Kirk Whalum and Gerald Albright, Jonathan Butler, David Sanborn, Marcus Miller, Candy Dulfer, a long, long list of artists. So I work with all these people, and I've also been putting together jazz festivals in different cities, and it's really been awesome. Putting together bands for I get to play places where maybe they haven't seen that particular combination of artists. I make unique shows, so I'll talk to a promoter and say, I'd really like a Gerald Albright and Mesa and Phil Perry. Can you make that happen? And I do. So I have a great time doing that. I also have my own career as a jazz artist. I had 4 CDs out right now. And you can visit me online at my website, which is bsimpsonmusic.com, or just Google search Brian Simpson, and you'll find me right away.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
And good luck.
All right.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
John Barge here, the artist for Jazzy Jam Jazz Festival. His art is being displayed on stage with the artists that are currently performing. So John, can you tell me a little bit about your inspiration for your art?
Like a broad sense, or just what this?
Give me a little bit of your inspiration for this jazz festival, yes.
Well, the whole concept was basically taking, if you can imagine like the artery of creativity and taking it into a strand of a paintbrush, listening to the tonal, values or the beat of a track, and then communicating to my brain, the right of my eye receives it, and then out comes this. So you could call it artistic, creative, expressive, whatever. So mind you, the swirls and the touches and the moves are based upon, to me, a God-given attribute to be able to connect to the music and to the artist and understanding the brand. A lot of people don't know that Humphrey Bogart's oldest son, Neil Bogart, started Casablanca Records. And my understanding, Donna Summer actually took over as the lead over the Beatles having the highest selling, I don't know exactly. So what happened, I decided to kind of come up with the inspirational piece, use a different medium of color pencil in her face, and then taking acrylic and kind of making the essence of her body and her shirt come alive into the whole piece, connecting to her gold record of her first year album. And then having the polyester players, Pat Prescott signing. And so after the creativity is over, it's all about checks and balances now. How can I get this off the block and I wouldn't say pat my pockets, but I would say just figure out how this can work for me financially. Yeah.
And how were you selected to be a part of this jazz festival?
I guess I can just say branding. The brand equity and valuing yourself. So just being out there, then having the publicists and the reps on my team and everything to just connect, the photographers and just my core group to basically push me out there. Facebook, you can visit at Art of JB3. Facebook, Twitter, and everything. I don't do tweets a lot, but Facebook, I'm on there all the time, and everybody's commenting. So yeah, it's pretty hot in here. But yeah, so that's the whole inspiration. So my artist statement: artists for the people. Artist for the people. Yeah. So I was recently also chosen as the ambassador for the United States Art and Embassies program. So it's like a visual diplomacy title. So I have a brand as the official American artist, not necessarily an African American artist. So being an African American is more of a cultural. Me as an artist, this is what it is. So white guy, Hispanic guy, or anybody could have did this. Yeah, it's all universal. And so when you, as an artist, I think that when you kind of think beyond just race and everything and certain experiences and think about the creative media, you tap into your IQ or your identification quota, you become that artist. And you work your 13-hour shifts, and so I consider myself as a crazy creative. It's just, it takes over and it's there. So, yeah.
Well, I love the universal nature of what you've done here, and thank you for stopping to talk to us. Yes. Good luck, and congratulations on being the ambassador for the United States.
Yes. That sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
And that was indeed a fantastic day out in Pasadena at Central Park with the Jazzy Jams Festival for Education and Empowerment. We'll be back there next year to show you more. And that's it for this edition of Newswire LA. I'm your host, Chin Thomas Sangsi, saying so long for all of us. And remember to follow everything Newswire LA. Look us up on Facebook and Twitter. That's it for now. So long, and we'll see you back here next time.
Wow.